What are the traits of a high value woman? Okay, well, since this question was proposed to me, I guess I will go ahead and get more further into this topic, even though I really hate the language of high value and what it's become on the internet, but I do understand the concept of it. I try not to even use that language, but it is such a popular term that's like floating all around the internet, and people pull different crazy definitions from it. But high mate value, that's actually like how the term started, as high mate value, and it refers to a woman's reproductive success and a man's resourcefulness, his ability to be resourceful, be loyal, and be like hardworking, and also his hierarchy in his tribe, in his community. So first, let's take it back to where it first started, in the Bible. A virtuous woman for who can find, for her price is far above rubies. Now, in evolutionary history, it was considered the women in the community or tribe that had high reproductive success, high fertility, women that were perceived as more attractive in the community. They had healthy hormones taking care of their bodies and their appearances, clear eyes, rosy red cheeks, all of these signals that signal to men that she can bear a child. She has, she doesn't have too much weight on her tummy, but she didn't look malnutritioned either, that she was at a healthy childbearing age with a healthy body to carry that child to term. And what's funny about the female brain too is that it actually rewards us with endorphins for continuing grooming habits and self-care routines that help us prevent infection in order to keep our vitality and health and reproductive success very high. Now, I was not around in ancient times, but I'm pretty sure that their meter for judging women to see if they were considered high mate value was very, very unique to what it is today. So I'm just going to list a few character traits that pop into my head. I didn't even pre-plan anything to be considered today as high mate value. Obviously, women are out here being independent, don't need men to provide and protect for them anymore. So things have changed. Things have flipped. Rules have changed. Things that we look for in mates have evolved over the years. And to be honest, I think the biggest character trait in a high value mate, man or woman, because it could go for either, is displaying a level of emotional intelligence, which is severely lacking today, especially in the Western culture. We watch all of these crazy reality TV shows that exhibit low value behaviors and trashy behaviors. And it's encouraged for us to have no emotional smarts, just quick to react to things, quick to, play the blame game, quick to be like overly negative and hateful and bitter towards other people. And none of these reality TV shows show any kind of level of having emotional intelligence, because that would be boring, right? As women, it's in our nature to be the more emotional, vulnerable gender. And so there's a shadow side to being emotional. And then there's obviously a healthy version of being emotional and having like mood swings. So I'm not talking about I'm not encouraging erratic, crazy mood swings. Those kind of mood swings, those kinds of women that just like, you never know what gauge they're going to be at. How they show up towards another person, you never know what kind of mood they're in, or they just make it their whole identity. Don't talk to me, I'm in a bad mood. This is not emotional smarts, okay? So like I said, it's very normal for us women to go through a wave of emotions and feel that, okay? If we weren't, we wouldn't be human. I can tell you straight up honest that I cry all the time, okay? But I cry from a place of emotional strength. I cry from a place of having a release. I cry from a place of just letting out my frustrations, letting it pass on by, and then dealing with it. And there's other women who just whine and cry all the time. You know, you have to question, are they on a substance? Are they going to unalive themselves? You know, that's more of the extreme and shadow side of being emotional as a woman. So that's not what I'm encouraging. Having emotional intelligence is a very important character trait to your peers, your loved ones, and especially to men in your life. And I mean, you can read throughout the Bible and you'll find basically verses that lead back to exactly all of this stuff that we now call emotional intelligence. But in the Bible is referred to fruits of the Spirit. You know, we don't even have emotional intelligence behind the wheel anymore. Road rage is rampant and it's even encouraged. And, you know, just the other day I had witnessed someone who stuck out their middle finger to another lady because she kind of like pulled out in front of their car, and she made a mistake. She kind of came out too soon, and I guess she just didn't see the car. And, you know, she made a traffic mistake. Okay, we're all human. We all do that. I definitely have made many mistakes behind the wheel. But nothing happened, you know, no accident or crash. But then the other person is like sticking out their middle finger to the lady. And I'm just like, is this serious? Is this real life? Like, this is so childish. So childish. Why are we portraying these kinds of behaviors? And then we laugh at it because, oh, it's so funny. No, it's completely disgusting and childish. Personally, road rage, I'm not attracted to it. And you'll be surprised of how often I witness this kind of stuff. Like, people, you need to obviously get into the Bible. If you're letting someone's traffic mistake piss you off because they didn't turn on their left blinker signal, okay? Okay, so for the next character trait that I will mention for this video is that someone of high mate value does not put their identity in the superficial things. She or he, but let's say she for the point of this video, she doesn't need or seek validation from followers, likes on Instagram, social media clout, wearing designer clothes, carrying designer handbags. She doesn't need the external validation in order to feel whole and complete within herself and confident in herself. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with obviously wanting to have feedback and engagement in your online community. Obviously, this is what I do, right? But that's not what is driving the messages. That's not what is driving the consistent showing up on social media. That's not what is driving the building of personally my online presence. So someone of high mate value, I'm about to run out of time. So anyway, someone of high mate value doesn't need that validation from superficial, tangible things. She needs validation. She needs to put her identity into God and who she is and how she's showing up as a humble, kind, generous person. Okay. Also, and even onto the validation from men, you know, it's common for especially young ladies, to seek out that external validation from a man, because we're just wired that way. Like, our body and brains are wired to procreate and attract men from a very young age. So it's easy to fall into that pleasing and seeking out that almost extreme version of validation from a man. And that's, one thing I heard too the other day was that how you're ready for marriage is that you don't idolize the idea of marriage and you don't idolize being single. You're kind of neutral in where you're at and where you're standing. You're not like, oh my God, I'm gonna feel so empty as a person if I never get married. But you're also not, oh my God, I never want a man in my life. I love being independent and single. You're just kind of neutral where you're at. You're like, I realize I want someone. I need a man. I want to be married. But you're not, oh my God, if it doesn't ever happen, I will never feel whole and complete and loved again. You know what I mean? So I thought that was very, very beautiful. And another trait of having high mate value is that you simply just don't allow men to become your friends with benefits, or these situationships, or one night stands, or whatever the terminology is that they come up with today. And God, it's literally just anything. And I know I have a lot of traditional women on here that understand and hear this message, or just women in general that want to learn. And we all have to come together and take a stand and put our voices out there and speak about this kind of stuff, because it's actually affecting you too. These women who are out here settling for these kinds of things and having no standard for themselves and for what kind of relationship they get into. It's ruining it for you too, and your relationships, and for how men perceive you. Even the more traditional men who were raised with more morals, or even outside of the Western culture, they can clearly see that the standard here is just go to the local neighborhood bar and pick up any random woman, and you can take her home, and you can succeed in the mating game that quickly with no investment into her. So just because it might not be the lifestyle that you live, it's ruining it for you too. And if you truly care about women in general, then you'll speak your authentic truth and speak up using your voice about how this is destroying us all as a whole collective, okay? I mean, men have told me numerous times they don't even know what to do with me. They don't even know what to do with a woman like me. And I'm just putting my vulnerable business out there because I want to help you understand. They don't even know what to do with women that actually have requirements. They don't even know. I mean, they don't even know like what boundaries they can or can't cross. They don't know when to cross boundaries. They don't know what to feed me. And by the way, I get it. Like, I get it. I'm not even knocking it. I'm not even like ragging on myself. It's just fascinating. Like, they don't even know what to do with these, more traditional women. They don't even know. Okay, I think the last character trait I'm going to mention is that she is virtuous. As a high mate value woman, she is virtuous. She walks in purity, not only with her body, but also with her heart. A virtuous woman for who can find, for her price is far above rubies. That's a Bible verse that I always love. But she is a rare gem because she, especially a rare gem in the modern Western world, because it is so encouraged and celebrated and glamorized for people to sleep around, lay down with just anyone, produce babies outside of wedlock, even obviously watch pornography. Hopefully I don't get flagged for that. All this hypersexuality that's thrown in our face in the media that you can't even really escape from it. It's just constantly thrown at you, and not only in the media, but even when you go out, like you go out into social settings, and if it, like, women and men both are just using very explicit sexual language, right? They're openly talking about their intimate lives. They're being explicit with their sexuality. I mean, it's hard for men and women who, like, they weren't raised with these strict morals to actually, like, do a 360 and stop engaging in sexual sin. But a high value mate woman or man, men are not excluded from this too, okay, are virtuous and practicing abstinence and being very mindful of who they give their sexual energy to. And again, virtue does not have to be just through the body, but also through the heart and spirit. And also this too, because I hear a lot of other creators mention this part too, and I think it's important, is that just because you are not or wasn't always virtuous and you made sexual mistakes in the past, that does not mean that you can't become virtuous and can't become someone of high mate value. There is always redemption, okay? But for those that don't hold themselves accountable and almost take pride in their sexual sin, well, they deserve exactly who they're getting, okay? Because a high mate value woman, chances are she's not going to want a man of less value who's mindlessly, carelessly spreading his seed. And there are so many character traits of high mate value, and they're not always directly correlated to money, because I know the internet likes to assume that if a man has money, he's considered a high value man, but that's not true at all. But I think, to me, those two traits, or few traits, are considered some of the most important character traits of showing up as high mate value, especially emotional intelligence and displaying a level of emotional integrity and able to deal with situations thoroughly and wisely without just resorting to our monkey instinct of reacting. I think that's probably the most important one, and also the one that's severely lacking today, at the most. It's so lost. So because that question was asked to me, I am giving you some of my insights on what is considered to be a high mate value woman. And it has nothing to do with how much money she has, okay? So, yeah, if you like videos like this, or you also have questions or suggestions for a video, you guys know where to find me. Send me a DM, send me an email. Find me on TikTok. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I'll get back to every single one of you. So I love you.